Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I stand before you today to inform the public of a serious matter involving the arrest of a resident for crimes that target our community's most vulnerable individuals, our children. On May 15th, officers with the Milton Police Department arrested Jonathan Burchett, a 55-year-old resident of Milton, Florida, on 24 counts of possession of child pornography, child sexual abuse material. This arrest is a result of the investigation conducted by Detective Mistovich of our Major Crimes Division. It began on May 12th after we received a credible tip about illicit material that was believed to be on Mr. Burchett's personal electronic device. Following proper legal procedure, we obtained a search warrant, and during the examination of the device, we uncovered 24 images containing suspected child sexual abuse content. Based on this evidence, an arrest warrant was issued. Mr. Burchett was taken into custody without incident, and he is currently being held without bond at the Santa Rosa County Detention Facility. He is awaiting his first court appearance. He faces the following charges: 24 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material in violation of 827.071.5. If convicted on all counts of the statutory maximum, he could face up to 120 years in prison. Let me be clear. The Milton Police Department is aggressively committed to protecting children from harm. They are our most vulnerable population, and crimes of this nature are deeply disturbing. They are our most vulnerable, and we will dedicate every single moment and available resource to thoroughly investigate all harm or exploitation involving children. But it's important to note that at this time I want to reassure the public and our Milton community. We have no evidence that suggests that any local youth were directly victimized or are depicted in the imagery found in this investigation. However, we will remain vigilant and continue to work closely with our state, county, and federal partners to follow up every particular lead. At this moment, though, I want to commend Detective Mistovich of the Milton Police Department Detectives Division. He exemplifies the highest standard of investigative excellence. He consistently conducts thorough, meticulous investigations, and his ability to navigate these complex situations with grace, compassion, and professionalism speaks to his character and his dedication to justice. His work, though, could not be completed without the strong partnership with the Santa Rosa Kids House, the Child Advocacy Center. They have been a strong collaborator and a leader in our region for child advocacy. The release of this information is not to be taken lightly. We do so today because we believe the public has a right to be informed when there is a significant risk of potential safety to our community. If anyone has any additional information related to this case or other suspected abuse, we urge you, we implore you, please contact the Milton Police Department immediately. Your vigilance, your cooperation are essential in our shared effort to protect our children. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to share, did this tip come from someone here in the community, or did it come through a collaboration with an organization such as maybe NCMEC?
So the Milton Police Department receives tips from multiple sources: concerned citizens, community partners, law enforcement. In this case, the tip was credible enough to warrant further investigation. We did so. While we don't disclose specific sources, and that's part of our investigative process, as this is still an ongoing investigation, I want to emphasize it's not where the tip came from that matters. What matters is the outcome: a successful investigation conducted by the Detective Division, an arrest of an individual for a serious crime. This is the power of see something, say something. This is the power of the principle of action, where it takes a village to come together, where we hold our own members of our community accountable and look out for one another. Yes, ma'am.
Was he a teacher at King Middle School?
He was. Mr. Burchett was employed by the Santa Rosa County School District. Upon notification of the arrest, the school district immediately suspended him from his employment and put him on administrative leave. And again, I do want to make sure that folks know that it's important to see that there is no evidence that any of the materials were created, accessed, or stored on school-issued devices. We are specifically looking at personally owned devices.
And while there was no students that were involved in this, definitely like a rise in cases. We've seen this before with teachers kind of coming down with charges like this. How can we ensure that students are safe in our public schools?
I come back to that early intervention, having those difficult conversations, often with our own children, with students in our community, helping them to understand that there are safe places that they can go to when they see something that makes them feel uncomfortable, or they're just a little concerned about an interaction that didn't just sit right. Our school district does an incredible job. They have great resources in-house, and we have great resources out-of-house here through the police department and within the city itself. So if you have students who have concerns or are not sure if something would fall into this line, please urge them. Reach out to the police department. Reach out to the Santa Rosa Kids House. Reach out to the local school district. We're all going to collaborate together, and we are all focused on the best well-being of our students, our community, and the youth here in the city of Milton.
And was he a history teacher in specific, or?
I don't have the specifics on that. I can say he was employed at Santa Rosa County School District and specifically at Kings Middle School.
And then how are sex offenders like effectively managed and monitored after these events?
There's an extensive process, and I want to make certain that folks understand that at this point this is an arrest. It is not a conviction. There is a process to move into the sex offender program. There are annual checks that go through for sex offenders, certain registrations or restrictions that may or may not apply, and those will vary based on offenses. And law enforcement goes out and works closely with our county and state partners to make sure that they are meeting those expectations.
And for those that don't know, where can they find the sex offender registry?
There is a link online. I will provide it through our public information officer, through Bethany Anderson. She'll make sure to get that link out to folks so that you can put it out if anybody has any questions or concerns. They can go to that site and see if there's anybody in their region, in their neighborhood.
Are you guys still investigating to make sure anything that wasn't on that one device or any other devices he may have?
We're conducting a thorough investigation looking at those devices. Also, images get submitted to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have the ability then to look at those images and compare them to known images, and that will help us to determine whether there's any identifiable individuals in there, and that will move the case one direction or another.
And I wonder is there like a rise in crimes like this, or is there like a rise in cracking down on it, or?
I'm glad you asked that question. Oftentimes when you see a series of arrests for one incident or a case or another, there's a presumption that there's an increase. Oftentimes it's not an increase. Sometimes it's an availability of a resource in an area which allows you to investigate crimes that perhaps you might not have before. And that's not necessarily indicative of this moment. But I do believe that we are in a community today where there are so many opportunities for folks to have safe places that they didn't have before, to come and reveal information that was difficult to say. And I think that has led to an increase in reporting, not necessarily an increase in crime. And so sometimes you see an increase in statistics and folks make an assumption that a place is less safe. The city of Milton is incredibly safe. Our schools are incredibly safe. But that doesn't mean that there aren't crimes and offenses being committed, and we will continue, especially when they involve our vulnerable population, to aggressively address those. Thank you, folks. I appreciate you. Be safe.
Very good.
I wonder if I can get a photo of you guys together.
Yes, ma'am.
You gotta come up with a tagline.